On August 23rd, 2023, Letitia James co-signed a $240,000 mortgage to purchase a house in Virginia with her niece, Shamise Thompson Hairston. To secure that loan, James signed a notarized power of attorney on August 17th, 2023, declaring that she intended to occupy the residence property as her principal residence. Okay. This wasn't a casual statement. It was a legal requirement to qualify for owner-occupied loan terms, which come with lower interest rates and better conditions. But here's where it gets interesting. The power of attorney was witnessed by two officials within her own office.
Oh, wow.
Jennifer Levy, First Deputy Attorney General, who played a role in the Donald Trump fraud case, and Sharona Parchment, another New York Attorney General staff member. These aren't random witnesses. These senior officials, who presumably understood exactly what James was declaring when she signed the document. They knew the legal implications of a sitting attorney general declaring her intent to establish residency in another state. But here is the problem.
Of course not.
James, she never intended to live there. She admitted as much in a speech 2 days ago, on May 20th, 2025, she claimed it was a mistake. She said she told the mortgage broker 2 weeks earlier, on August 2nd, 2023, in an email, this property will not be my primary residence. It will be Shamise's primary residence. And she even doubled down the next day, telling her broker the property I will not be a Virginia resident, and I never will be. So let's break this all down. If James knew that she wasn't going to live in Virginia and sent out 2 emails saying it, right?
Sworn
Why did she sign a sworn statement saying that she would live in Virginia 2 weeks later? That power of attorney is not a side note. Excuse me for a second.
No, it's not.
That power of attorney is not a side note. It was filed with the deed and mortgage, witnessed by 2 New York Attorney General officials, and used to close the deal. James had months to correct that power of attorney, to correct the mortgage, which was underwritten based upon that power of attorney, but she never did. Instead, she launched a civil trial case against Donald Trump.
The level of hypocrisy is alarming.
2023, while her mortgage in agreement,
if hypocrisy was a person.
Living in Virginia. So picture this. You got the Donald Trump trial coming along, everything, right? And here she is.
Unreal indeed.
Unreal. Unreal. James now claims that the email to a broker was the truth, and the sworn statement was a mistake. I can tell you, as a former felon myself, we all make mistakes. But in real estate, what matters is what's signed and what's notarized and what's recorded, not an unfiled email sent weeks earlier. If she never intended to live in Virginia, then she lied under perjury to get a loan that she was not eligible for.
She can't escape this,
That's
bro.
That's not a mistake.
She can't escape this, bro. Oh, look, I didn't know that.
It didn't stop here. And of course, we're talking about the Brooklyn property. Since 2001, the official certificate of occupancy has classified the building as a 5-unit building. But for 22 years, James has filed at least 10 mortgage applications describing it as a 4-unit dwelling or even a 1 or 2.
This one is in deep fire, bro. I love it.
Why does that matter? Because misrepresenting the unit count can qualify her for residential loan products, including federal HAMP relief, which I'll get into later. That is only available for smaller owner-occupied properties, not commercial 5-unit buildings. In other words, buildings with units 4 or less, they're considered residential, get better rates, cheaper insurance. Units 5 or more have to pay commercial rates, have to pay higher insurance, and have to pay larger down payments. You see, this isn't the one-off error. It's a pattern. It's a scheme known in the real estate world as the Big Fours. Let me explain what that means. Before the 2008 housing crisis, there was a widespread fraud scheme whereby insiders would misclassify 5 or 6 unit buildings as 4 family homes to get cheaper residential financing instead of commercial loans. It often involved, and this is important to understand, collusion. It often involved mortgage brokers, appraisers, title companies, and attorneys, yes, attorneys, working together to hide the truth. This scheme was so pervasive that it contributed to the housing bubble and subsequent financial collapse of our economy.
I did not know that.
Thousands of these loans ended up in mortgage-backed securities
system,
poisoning our financial system. James's filing follows the exact playbook. And physical evidence backs it up. First, the Con Ed records show 6 electrical meters for the property, 1 for common areas, 5 for each appointment. That matches the property's classification, not the mortgage forms.
Water.
And second, Joel and I visited the property. Joel Gilbert, another financial journalist, whatever, visited the property. We actually visited and we saw 5 doorbells, 1 doorbell for each property. But also I want to give credit where credit is due. Investigative journalist Joel Gilbert of Gateway Pundit was the first to uncover James's HAMP fraud scheme, revealing how she received the federal modification she wasn't eligible for.
Wow.
And of course, Joel and I later visited the property where we confirmed that she had 5 doorbells, 1 for each.
This lady's screwed, man.
For years,
can you imagine?
James has been prosecuting landlords.
That is the one that pisses me off.
And now she's caught doing the same thing and has the audacity.
Unbelievable. There's no way. She's done.
Unreal. We'll get to that, don't worry.
She prosecutes people for that. You're done, lady.
At 3121 Corona Avenue in Norfolk, Virginia, James purchased a property James purchased in August 2020. We see the same playbook in action. James bought this property for $137,000 with a $109,600 mortgage from OVM Financial. But here's the kicker. She never disclosed this mortgage from OVM on any of her financial disclosure forms from 2020 to the latest year that's available, 2020.
Right.
Not once. Mortgage was supposed to be disclosed, never disclosed. This is a clear violation of Public Officers Law 73A, which requires disclosure of all mortgages on income-producing properties. Now it gets worse. In 2023, she suddenly reports 2 different mortgages for this property. One from Freedom Mortgage, $150,000 to $250,000, and another from National Mortgage for $100,000 to $150,000. But guess what? I'm not going to just look at these forms. I commissioned an independent title search. That's of course me some money, but what is it? Neither of these properties exists in the property. Neither of these mortgages exists in the property records. The only mortgage that appears is the original OVM mortgage that was never disclosed. So think about that. She reports 2 mortgages, I'll call them phantom mortgages, that don't exist, while hiding the real mortgage that does. And if you add all 3 mortgages together, it adds up to 272% of the value of the underlying property using her stated values. The Virginia property also shows another troubling pattern. Vanishing rental income. James reported $1,000 to $5,000 in rental income for the property in 2020, and in every year since.
But she prosecutes others for this. Dang, this lady's evil, bro.
And given her history of failing to disclose rental income from her Brooklyn property, which was exposed by Cranes many years ago, until she was caught by the media, this raises questions about whether she's again hiding income on the properties. But her defense now is to deflect and deny, and I get it. I was a crook once. I can understand what she's doing. 2 days ago, on May 20th, James spoke at a power breakfast and gave an interview to CBS News. She said the DOJ probe into her was nothing more than retribution for a $455 billion
which is going to win in appeal
against Donald Trump. She called it baseless. She said that her Virginia residency declaration, that power of attorney I spoke to you about before, was a mistake, pointing to that email that she sent the broker. In other words, the power of attorney is a mistake because the email I sent the broker
makes it worse.
Earlier saying I didn't intend to occupy the property, but she signs a sworn power of attorney 2 weeks later that she's going to occupy the property, and the mortgage is underwritten based on that power of attorney. Anyway, you know what it is? Prosecutors make shitty criminals. Anyway, let's be clear. Her defense doesn't hold up. If the email was the truth,
right,
why didn't she correct the power of attorney before signing it? Why didn't she amend the mortgage?
Exactly.
After it closed?
No excuse,
she had months to
bro.
fix it, and she did. And what about the Brooklyn property? She campaigned Trump for 22 years of fraud. She was committing fraud on her Brooklyn property from the day she bought it in 2001. At that time, I think Trump was a Democrat.
Wow. Unforgivable.
You know, these people used to go in front of the cameras, unquestioned by these lapdog reporters, and this is the kind of garbage you get from these. I hate to say it. And as a criminal, listen, I loved it too as a criminal, because they believed all my BS when I was reporting crazy Eddie investors. She also complained that they got individuals coming to my house. Yes, Letitia. Know what that's called? It's called investigative journalism. You don't need orders from Donald Trump for people to come to your house and visit the scene of the crime. All you need is a conscience and a camera. And of course, she was referring to me and Joe Gilbert going to this house and taking pictures of our doorbell. Standing outside her house isn't harassment. It's called due diligence. When Joel and I visited her Brooklyn property to count those 5 doorbells and prove her fraud, we weren't there on Trump's orders. We were there because the truth
no one is above the
matters. James wants you to believe this baloney is all political. Her crimes are, the accusations against her are all political. But I'm a Democrat. I have no ties to
because it was the right thing to do.
I started this investigation on my own.
Thank you, sir.
Using public records because I believe in accountability. The FBI agrees this isn't political. CBS confirmed on May 20th that FBI Director
Don Bongino
and Deputy Director Donald Bongino are overseeing this case directly, and they're treating it as a matter of great importance. That's not retribution, that's justice. The hypocrisy of Letitia James. Letitia James built a career on fighting corruption. She's gone after landlords, businesses, and even Trump for financial misrepresentations. But when the
Yep.
tables are
Guy's victim.
turned, she cries foul. On May 20th, she ended her speech with the bravado, "My message is clear. Don't harm my city. Don't harm my state.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you got me to go to."
Exactly.
But who's harming New York? A public official who swears
Right.
to uphold the law, yet spends decades
Ooh.
breaking it for personal gain? That's who Letitia James is. She benefited from better loans, federal relief, and other financial advantages.
So
that
guys,
just
I'm gonna
wasn't
stop it there
entitled
because
to.
it's
And when
quite
she's
long. It's 2 hours long. I don't think he spoke the whole time, the whole 2 hours. But I'm gonna put the link in the bio so you can watch it. You can click on it and watch the rest of his speech. But yeah, I mean, what else is there for me to say? I do want to say that the level of hypocrisy here is too much to describe for me. It's too much to describe. This lady is beyond corrupt, and we've all been saying it. You know, we that supported Trump, we've all been saying this lady is corrupt. How can you hold Trump accountable for a private transaction, one does not harm the citizens, even the court? Question that part. How does it harm the citizens of New York? And her and her attorneys try to prove that it does by listing some kind of case or whatever. And she got Trump to pay 400 and some million that is in escrow right now until the appellate court rules against it and counsels the case, because there's not much to it. The bank that Trump did business with said that they would do it again. They got the money paid on time. He didn't cheat anybody. But here we have you. That's, oh Lord, the level of hypocrisy. Like in the olden days, you need to be stoned to death. But because we have grace, I'm not recommending you get stoned to death, you know? But I'm saying that that's what it seems like you are, like the level of your hypocrisy is just too much. It's too much. Over a decade, you've cheated the people of New York, the law, broken the law for over a decade, and now you're crying retribution and revenge. When you campaigned on getting Trump, you campaigned on it. It's not like you campaign on benefiting New York citizens. You campaign on getting Trump, and you won, right? Because people were so naive to believe in you, and here we are. Here we are, the table. Like, this goes to show that you don't mess with God's children. Touch not my anointed and do my prophets no harm, the Bible said. I do believe, you might not believe you watching, but I do believe Trump is an anointed child of God. Just look at the series of events happened over this man's run for presidency and his term and all that, his regime and administration. You can definitely see the hand of God in it, and how God is preserving him, preserving his life, and bringing people to justice that have lied against him, have done things against him. Like, there is an anointing upon his life. People that lie against him eventually get exposed in a bad way. Look at Fani. Fani, is that how you say Fani? Whatever her name is, Fani in Georgia, the Attorney General of Georgia was trying to get Trump. Now, things turned out so, like, this is crazy. How can they be so blind to not sit back and watch what's happening in Trump's life? How can they be so naive to that, you know? Oh, there's so much to say to this, but I don't want to make this video too long, right? Like I said, I'm going to put the link of this one in the description, and then you guys can watch it whenever you want. But this is my name is Great Akudo, and this is the Akudo Experience. Welcome to the Akudo Experience. I'll see you guys in the next video.